Come down with me now to Howard's End. I want you to see it.
More than just...
Oh, you girls have always been so independent.
Isn't that generally reckoned to be a good thing, Aunt Julie? Matthew McFadden and I had this ongoing kind of running joke that, you know, maybe the fact that Margaret Schlegel, my character, changes him by the end of the piece, was it always kind of a hidden attempt to just infantilise him and make him a baby? And we had this idea that he's just sat at the end of the film eating rusks in a nappy. So on his last day of filming, I went into his trailer and I put training potty over his toilet, nappy in his trousers, a dummy in his pocket, nappy rash cream on his makeup station. And then every time he asked for a cup of tea on set, I had the runners give it to him in a sippy cup with a bib. So he got to spend the day as a big baby, which was really fun. But that's the kind of, yeah, we just like making each other laugh. It makes the day go by quicker and it's so much more enjoyable.
What a dream. Well, Hayley's fantastic because she's a brilliant sort of ensemble leader. So on set, she's brilliant at keeping sort of the mood up and fun, so everyone's as relaxed. So you can sort of do your best work. And Matthew and Hayley had worked previously together, so they knew each other, which was also really nice because there was a big sense of familiarity and sort of, like I said, comfort. And that's when everyone can do their best work, when everyone is loose and easy, and that's when you can sort of deliver. So they were great, good leaders. And for me, because it's my first proper big telly job, and so for me it was, I immediately felt sort of welcome and at home, really, which I think hopefully comes across on the big screen.
Joyful and a great learning experience. You know, you kind of want to come up with a great story about how much of a diva someone was, but actually so down to earth and so lovely. I mean, I did most of my scenes with Matthew and a few with Hayley, and both of them are so experienced and have done so much, wear it so lightly, so they'll occasionally step in with a tip, or if you have a question, they'll be really happy to answer. The rest of the time they're just joking around, and like me and Matthew had to kind of improvise a bit for something that's not actually in the dialogue, isn't heard, and I was trying to do it seriously and talk about stocks and shares, and he was just completely taking the piss, and we barely got through a take because he kept making me laugh.
A fantastic director on board, so yeah, it was a joy to be a part of.
I play Evie Wilcox, who is the middle child of the Wilcox family. So Henry Wilcox is my father, and I'm very much happy in my small little bubble in my very wealthy world, and I don't understand why I should talk to anyone else who isn't in my world.
I'd say, first of all, he's very funny and ridiculous because he's so conceited and up himself and pompous, so that's just really fun to play. But then underneath that, there's so much more going on. I realised that so much of it is about his relationship with his dad, and not to get too, psychological about it, but it's about him desperately trying. So that's why he's ridiculous and a figure of fun. But then as it continues, you start to realise that he's just desperately trying to get the approval of his father and fill the shoes that he just is never going to be able to do because he's not that kind of guy. I find that really interesting thing to try and work out.
Jackie Bast, who is the working class wife of Leonard Bast, who's also working class, and it's about them struggling to survive in this world.
Well, first of all, I think she's really funny, which is I probably shouldn't say. I found her really funny in the book and both in the film. I just think she's sort of so blissfully ignorant of everything around her, and a sort of a busy little body, which I sort of can relate to because I like to think I'm quite a busy little body, so I thought, well, that would be quite fun to sort of try and put that onto the screen. And also just the adaptation, what Ken Lonergan's done with the part was brilliant. He's a master of dialogue and wit, and sort of the moment you start reading it, you go, yep, I want a bit of that, please. And I was lucky enough to be cast in it.
The fact that there are so many different characters and so many different stories, but each one has their very own specific journey, and each one in the scripts that Ken Lonergan wrote have complete humanity and their own insecurity, and they're ridiculous in their own ways, and so throughout it's sad and funny almost at the same time sometimes, I think. So quite apart from even the subject matter, which I think is brilliant, it's just each person has such a brilliant journey, no matter how small, which I think that's one of the most exciting things about it. Yeah.
I loved filming in Simpsons on the Strand because it's so beautifully old-fashioned anyway, and sort of us in all of our costumes, it felt like this is how everyone should look in this restaurant. I thought it would be sort of odd seeing people in jeans, and that was a really lovely day because we were just doing a dinner scene with Hayley, Matthew, and lovely Miles Jupp, who plays my love interest, and that was just a really good fun day, and quite nice food as well.
I hope they'll be moved, I hope they'll laugh, but most of all I hope that they'll take away, only connect this message that is at the centre of everything, which is stop and listen and try and take everyone for who they are, and don't assume just because someone's posh or someone's poor or someone's a man or someone's a woman that you know who they are without having properly investigated them.
Well, I think it's it's a classic, but it's also extremely relevant with, you know, sort of class and wealth and you know, how do we... I think what I'd like to people to take away is that we constantly can correct ourselves into learning how to speak to people from all different backgrounds and all different walks of life.
You do have a nice way of taking the poetry out of everything, Mr. Wilcox.
Your life has been heroic.
From whom do you pretend to hide this dreadful secret?
Howard's End on BBC One.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.